Hey there, everyone. Welcome back. You're watching Inside. You guys, now it's time to talk finances. We have Heather Foster here with Foster Financial, here to talk about long-term care, protection, and planning. Heather, always nice to have you here.
It's always good to be here, Tony.
Awesome. Well, look, let's talk about it, long-term care, protection, and planning.
Yeah, no one wants to really talk about, though, going to a nursing home, right? But it's a reality, right? The statistics are actually very, very high. About 65% of people are going to need some form of long-term care.
Yeah.
So what I really wanted to talk about is everyone knows about long-term care insurance. No one wants to pay for it. It's pretty expensive. So there's several different ways that you can take out insurance policies. I kind of want to actually talk more about the legal strategizing planning that sometimes we recommend.
Okay.
So we work with local attorneys. So this is not something that we implement completely on our own at Foster Financial, but we work with some local attorneys that work with strategizing to protect your assets from a legal perspective. So this is not insurance planning, this is legal planning that gets done with, again, attorneys, where we are able to reposition assets and protect them from a nursing home spin down. There's typically two different types of ways that the attorneys, accomplish this. If you have a spouse that's living, you can transfer the assets to the spouse and then sometimes do a promissory note or a loan to a child. That kind of creates the asset being not yours anymore because it's a loaned out process, and that kind of protects the money. That process, I mean, there's a lot of work that goes in. Where the financial advisors typically come into that process is if we're having to cash out someone's accounts, IRA accounts, Roth IRA accounts, brokerage accounts, your financial advisor needs to be a part of that process because there's potentially a lot of taxation going to happen in order to reposition your assets into your spouse's name and then do potentially that loan process. So it is a complicated process. It does cost to work with the attorneys to get this process accomplished, but it is something that is a way of protecting assets that's currently under current law available for people to utilize. The other way that we typically will do it is if you only have one spouse living, they'll do a lot of times an irrevocable trust where they're repositioning the assets into some sort of trust, and it starts the 5-year look back on those the assets that were moved into the trust. So again, legal planning is needed for this type of thing, and it's not guaranteed that legislation will not change at some point in the future. So what I'm saying today may not be available in the future, but there are attorneys that do this kind of planning. A little bit of a cumbersome process, yes. Fairly expensive, yes, but way less expensive than paying $9,000 or $10,000 or $11,000 a month to a facility, especially if you're in memory care. So not just you thinking about this kind of planning, but if you are someone that's in charge of your parents' estate, you're the power of attorney for a parent, and you're looking at dementia, Alzheimer's, going into a facility of some sort, just know that other than long-term care insurance, because a lot of people have not taken it out, there are other ways of doing strategic planning to protect your money from a nursing home spin down. Don't just pay that bill. Work with somebody, talk with somebody, get in. We do this all the time, for clients that want to go down that road. Not everybody wants to, and it's a personal decision. We do ask our clients, though, ahead of time, if you were to be in your 80s and you get dementia, while they're still fine and their minds are there, would you want this kind of protection planning done for you? And we get that, and we make a note of it, and we keep it on their file, so that way later down the road, if something has happened and a child is coming in and they're the power of attorney for our client, they're kind of, a lot of kids are like, I'm not sure if I should try to protect the money. Is that selfish of me? Is it selfish that I'm trying to protect this money for our family? And at the end of the day, again, that's a personal decision. What I tell people, though, is a lot of times those trusts are designed where the income that the trust produces can go back to the person and to help keep them in a facility. Even if Medicaid is paying the bill, maybe they're paying some money out of that to keep them in a private room. So it doesn't have to be that you're just protecting it for the heirs. It can also be protection planning for the person who's going into the facility, making sure they don't run out of money and end up on Medicaid anyways and in a semi-private room.
Yeah, that's why it's important to be able to have these conversations. Like you said, people don't really want to look forward to that, right? But you got to plan.
You have to plan. And again, we understand that long-term care insurance has really taken a turn in recent years with the baby boomer generation using more and more long-term care. The expenses of long-term care insurance are through the roof. Many companies actually stopped issuing long-term care contracts because the demand on actually utilizing these contracts. So it shot premiums through the roof, very unaffordable for most people. So if you don't have insurance, just be aware that there is another way around protecting your money.
All right. Thanks so much, Heather, for bringing us that important information. You guys take a look at your screen right now. Find out more information about Foster Financial. Get in there for that complimentary consultation. Get some of those questions answered. We'll be right back.